Okay, so MLB is implementing some major rule changes for 2023. I want to go over them with you, okay? I'm also going to give you 2 rules that I think would be a good idea for them to implement at some point, too. Things that maybe bring back or whatnot or change. And remember, this isn't only just a Yankees channel. This is all things baseball. This is why I want to give you these rules, because I want you to know exactly what they are. I read them. I took notes here in my notebook, so I want to make sure I get them right when I explain them to you. And remember, no matter what you do, you're going to get everything here. It's mostly Yankees, but anything that pertains to the Yankees in any way, baseball, that's going to affect our enjoyment of baseball games, I'm going to put out for you. So if you're going to do one activity that you haven't done yet, please subscribe to this channel, okay? Because I don't want you missing stuff like this. I put out everything, okay, for folks. And let me know that you do so I can personally thank you. I don't want you missing good stuff. So now let's get to these rules, okay? Number 1 is the pitch clock. Okay, now pitchers have 15 seconds in between pitches if there are no runners on base. Okay, and again, this is to be implemented in 2023, starting in spring training. This is being voted on today. It looks like they have the votes to pass it. So 15 seconds with no runners on, 20 seconds with base runners on. Okay, so those are the minor changes, and this has already been implemented to a degree in minor leagues. And one of the players that was actually in support of it was Matt Carpenter, the Yankees' Matt Carpenter. He expressed support when he was early in the season playing with AAA Round Rock. He was saying that some of these things are speeding up the pace of the games, and I'll go into that in a little bit too, because it does. And he was in favor of them, you know. And again, you know how hard it is to stay focused when a game is like 3.5 and 4 hours. When they're shorter and, you know, keep you engaged, it's a heck of a lot better. And that includes commercial breaks and blah, 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 which I'm going to get into too. So it's staying engaged in the games is going to be a heck of a lot more, I think, easy to do. So that's 1, the pitch clock. Number 2 is the shift limit, okay? Now, Major League Baseball is requiring 4 players that are not the pitcher or the catcher, okay, to be in the front of the outfield grass. Now, they can go as far back in that infield dirt as they can, okay, right back to the very end, but not on the outfield grass like they do now, okay? And that's one of the rules there. And again, and that's when the pitch is thrown, they have to be there, okay? And including 2 of 4 of these players on either side of second base. Got to be at least 2. So no matter where the shift is, as long as you're abiding within that rule, staying on the back part of the grass when the pitch is thrown, the back part of the dirt, not the grass when the pitch is thrown, looks like they're going to be safe. So I know there's been some concerns and frustrations with playing the shift, especially with dead pull hitters. It sucks sometimes. Next one is PickOff Limits. This one is interesting, or walk-off, step-off rubber limits. Okay, now there's going to be no more than 2 attempts at trying to pick a guy off, or stepping off the rubber to attempt or fake a pickoff. You know, sometimes these guys will throw it 10 times and it just makes an at bat forever. They can't do that now, because any third attempt that's not successful is an automatic balk. Okay, the batter gets the base. Not the batter, the runner gets the base. Okay, and if that happens, if the balk happens, they reset that 2 attempt clock. So that's the only way they'll get multiple attempts. But they're gonna have to let a runner move up a base. So it's kind of a trade-off in that regard. But it's 2 now. No stepping off, or no attempting pickoff. Otherwise, balk time. Now, base size is another thing. MLB is increasing the base size from 15 inches either way to 18 inches either way. Number 1, for safety reasons, and their logic is first baseman gets stepped on a lot when they're trying to reach for a pitch, and blah, blah, blah. Runners will just run. And I've seen it happen before. So getting your foot, your ankle, your Achilles, whatever it is, your calf. This will help that in that regard with safety. And it also is, their logic is promote more aggressive base running and more stolen bases. The bags are closer to each other because they're essentially 6 inches in any direction, less between the bags. So it's supposed to promote more aggressive base running, which we've known it to be a problem with a lot of teams. We don't see it enough, right? Next rule is the catcher. The catcher has to be within that 15-second period or 20-second period. The catcher has to be within that catcher's box within 9 seconds left to the next pitch. And they have to be completely focused on the pitcher within 8 seconds to the next pitch. So they have to be there, focused, and down and ready to go within a short period of time, 8 or 9 seconds. So it's not only a pitcher's clock, it's also a catcher's clock too. So they got to figure these things out. And they'll be working on this stuff during spring training. So now, one of the things to cut the length of games back is the half innings. Okay, half inning breaks in between commercials and ads or blah blah blah. The gap's now going to go down to 2 minutes and 15 seconds in between games for regular season. in between innings or regular seasons, okay? And 2:40 for nationally televised games, 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and 3:10, 3 minutes and 10 seconds for postseason games. So it does get a little bit longer, but with only these three metrics involved. So, and it's an effort to kind of shorten the games. And again, at the minor league level, this has been experimented with. They've already shortened the average of games from 3 hours and 4 minutes to 2 hours and 38 minutes. 26 minutes they've shaved off games already. So, I see that happening at the major league level too. And lastly, what I'm going to mention is the batter. A batter now can ask, with that clock, the 30-second clock, or whatever, 20-second clock, the batter can ask the umpire, how much time do we have left? And essentially, too, there's supposed to be 30 seconds in between end of a play and the beginning of a new batter. Okay, at bat. Now, what I don't know, I don't have clarity yet on whether when umpire calls safe or out, blah, 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 is that when the 30-second clock starts? Because at that point, the pitcher's not on the rubber and the mound and blah, blah, blah. So he has his own clock, the catcher has his own clock, and the batter has his own clock, which is 30 seconds in between at bats. But that I don't have much clarity on. Once I get it, you'll get it. But the batter can only ask the umpire, what's the status on this clock? So the umpire's going to have to keep some pretty strict time limits here and for a plate appearance. After that, if he asks a second time, it's completely umpire's discretion as to whether he wants to or she wants to answer it or not. Okay, now let's pivot over to the two things I think should change, okay? Number one, I think we should go back to the 7-inning doubleheader per game, okay? This 9-inning doubleheader per game is wearing out the bullpen and wears out a lot of players. And I think it's just a more productive way. If you want to promote safety, I think this is a good way of doing it. They already play 162 games, 9 innings, extra innings, blah, blah, blah. If you look at the Yankees this week, that doubleheader against the Twins, they played 13 or 12 innings, and then they played 21 innings, okay? What if we went 7-7, which is 14? Like, an extra inning game can take you up to a normal game of 9 innings or something like that. So I think a 7-inning doubleheader would probably be a good idea. I know some people don't agree with me, but that's the way I feel. And the other thing is getting rid of this ghost runner rule. Okay, I think it's ridiculous. Or I call it a transition rule. What I would do is, if you want to keep it, make it more methodical here. Put a runner on first for the 10th and 11th innings, okay? And then if you get past the 11th inning, then you move him to second. Okay, again, in an effort to preserve the bullpen, okay, because this changes a lot of things, and it's really, really hard with a 3-batter minimum rule, too, to kind of keep tabs on here. And again, if you're using a lot of players already, this is kind of a net advantage to the team that's at bat. So I know, to me, in order to make it comparable for both teams, that's what I would do. Runner on first for the 10th and 11th inning, and then you move him to second after that for as long as the game lasts. So you let me know what you think of these things, okay? I really want to know what your feedback is. Put it in the comments. And if you subscribe, let me know. All right? I'll be back later on this evening or this afternoon with the Yankees lineup. They play in Tampa. Tampa, pitch to Aaron Judge. None of these intentional walks on a regular basis. All right? Let's go. Over and out.